At a site in Egypt, archaeologists found more than 100 mummies that belonged not to humans, but to crocodiles. There was something written on the coffins of these crocodile mummies, which experts were shocked to read and understand. Welcome back to Kazi TV videos. Thousands of years ago in ancient Egypt, when people died, they were preserved with chemicals so that their bodies would not deteriorate over time. After preservation, the mummy was decorated according to its level or rank and then buried in the ground or in a tomb. Well, archaeologists have found many mummies from Egypt, but the 7 mummies you will know about today were the mummies that were first seen. So it was too hard for experts and archaeologists to believe. So let's begin number 7. Lady Roy. Among the oldest mummies of ancient Egypt is the mummy of a woman who is now known as Lady Roy. About 140 years ago, this mummy was found in the area of the Theban tomb in Egypt, surprising archaeologists. The research revealed that 3,550 years ago, Lady Roy died at the age of about 35 years. And it looked like she might have been a nurse or maid of an ancient queen. But what shocked archaeologists was Lady Roy's hair. Even after thousands of years, Lady Roy's hair was still well preserved. There were even parts of his hair that looked like they had only grown out a few months ago. The hairstyle with which Lady Roy was preserved in this ancient era is also decorated like this till today. Number 6. Ramses II. Ramesses II was the most famous leader of ancient Egypt. Compared to other Egyptian kings, Ramesses II held the throne for a much longer period of time and was in his 90s when he died. Ramses II pharaoh was found in 1881 in Skara, a small village in Egypt where only ancient kings, queens, or the upper class were buried. The archaeologists who excavated the mummy said that as powerful as Ramses II was during his time, his mummy still looks powerful after thousands of years. No one knows the exact number, but you will be surprised to know that according to research and DNA tests, Ramses II fathered 150 children. In 1974, it was noticed that Ramses II mummy was decomposing. For this reason, it was immediately decided to take his mummy to Paris, where he will be treated, but according to international rules, a person should be alive or dead. He must have a passport to cross the border, which is why Egypt issued a passport to Ramses II that gave him the status of king. It is to be remembered that this was the first passport in the world that was issued for a dead person. When landing in Paris, the mummy of Ramses II was given full military honors. Number 5. Tutankhamun, or King Tut. The finding of this pharaoh not only surprised the finders, but the mummy of Tutankhamun surprised archaeologists all over the world. The room in which Tutankhamun's mummy was locked was found 20 feet below the ground. Tutankhamun was the youngest king of ancient Egypt, who gained so many powers at the age of 9 that his mummy was found in a tomb in the Valley of the Kings in 1922, where, along with the mummy, countless treasures were also buried, and that is why the mummy of Tutankhamun surprised the whole world. This was believed to be the tomb of this king who died only at the age of 19. That there are some souls and demons inside it that are protecting this mummy and treasure. Lord Naaman was the person who funded the finding of the tomb of Tutankhamun. Amazingly, just days after King Tut's mummy was found, Lord Naaman died of a mosquito bite. Number 4. The crocodile mummy. A team of archaeologists was working in al-Barijat, an ancient city in Egypt. Their target was to find mummies or buried treasure, but their hopes were dashed when not 1 or 2 but more than 100 raisins were found in that place, which belonged to crocodiles and not to humans. Thousands of years old crocodiles were preserved with great care. At first, archaeologists did not understand why crocodiles were preserved instead of humans. But later, some things were found in the coffins of these crocodiles, which had something written on them, and then the game of this mystery changed. Archaeologists were more interested in the inscriptions on each crocodile's coffin than the crocodiles, and what the ancient Egyptians had to do with these crocodiles thousands of years ago, and why were they so respectfully preserved. Research has shown that the ancient Egyptians believed the crocodile to be a god because for them the crocodile was a symbol of power. In this ancient period, the ancient Egyptians also made statues with the head of a crocodile and the lower part of a human. Number 3. Gazelles' raisins. Crocodiles were not the only animals whose mummies were found in Egypt. Archaeologists have also found mummies of several deer. This deer mummy, you see, died about 3,000 years ago and appears to have been a queen's pet deer. When archaeologists found the deer during excavations, they were surprised to find that the deer, along with the king and queen, had been stuffed and buried in a very royal fashion. That is, the method used to preserve the king and queen, this deer was also preserved with the same splendor and placed in the royal coffin. Number 2. The mid-mummy. The Egyptians used a special plant chemical known as resin to preserve the human body, which was very expensive. And because of this, only the rich could afford it. Archaeologists used resin to prevent the bodies from deteriorating over time. But Australian archaeologists were shocked when they discovered a mummy covered in clay, not resin. The mummy belonged to a woman who died at the age of 25, but there was more than just dirt on her coffin that alarmed archaeologists. Lab tests revealed that this mummy was 3,000 years old, but the soil that was planted around it was planted many years after its death. It was understood after research that this mummy belonged to a woman from a poor household who could not afford the reason is why it was preserved with clay, but why was it covered with clay after many years of her death? It still remains a question mark for archaeologists. And now number 1. The tattoo with the mummy. Getting tattoos on the body is considered fashionable in today's modern age. But even in ancient times, tattoos were very important. Archaeologists have also found 7 women who have tattoos on their bodies at Dar el Medina in Egypt. More tattoos were seen on the body of a mummy. Archaeologists say that they have never seen tattoos on mummies before today, but after seeing this, it will not be wrong to say that tattoos were also of great importance in ancient Egypt. Everywhere we see only decoration. Maybe these 7 mummies with tattoos on their bodies are the wall artists of this era, and they have played a great role in decorating the chambers of Kings Valley. I hope you will like and share this video of Kazi TV. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next awesome video.